Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. In this video, I'm going to talk about a poll that I conducted recently, and the poll says, have other people tried to discourage you from doing velocity banking? And so 36% of people say yes, people think it's a bad idea. 9% said yes, people tried to discourage me, but I did it anyway. 11% said no, people thought it was a great idea, and then 44% said no, I never told anybody. So it seems like the vast majority of people did either told people and they had a negative reception, or they didn't tell anybody at all for whatever reason. And only 11% of people told other people, and the other people they told thought it was a great idea. Now, I'm going to kind of go over a few brief reasons why I think most people are against doing velocity banking. And I'm just going to kind of give you a little bit of my credentials here. So I talk about this almost every single video where I give my credentials, but bear with me if you've already seen this. So here is my mortgage statement in 2022. And if you look at this right here, 2051, that's the maturity date of the mortgage, meaning that's the end of 30 years. So if I subtract 30, then that means 1 year had passed from this due date. And if you just do a quick calculation here, right, you'll see that I paid off 25% of my mortgage in a year, about $58,000. Just do the math yourself. And so I did velocity banking on my own home, and I paid off the principal and I paid off the line of credit, and it was really easy, and I didn't have to really think about it. And the funny thing is that I was talking about velocity banking 3 years before I was able to even do it. And every single person I talked to just gave me this bizarre negative reaction. Like, it was going to be the end of the world if I did something like that. And I was like, okay, maybe this doesn't work. And again, I didn't have the confidence to like really explain it because, you gain the confidence once you kind of do it yourself. And so if you're not even in a position where you have like lines of credit, or maybe you don't make enough income, so therefore the banks don't lend you money for the lines of credit, then it's hard to explain to others with confidence like what the concept is about. But once you do it enough, and sometimes this will happen to you when you are successful, like you show proof of your success to other people. Sometimes the way that other people react is if they've watched a ghost, right? Like, this is real, but this is not real, or you just photoshopped this or something like that, right? I've never had anyone tell me that this photoshopped, but sometimes they look at it and then they're not curious at all and they never bring it up again. Whereas, like, for the average person, if they were actually able to do this in real life, they'd be quite excited. In fact, if they paid off a 30-year mortgage in 4 years, they'll be mind blown, right? All right, so let's go back to the poll. So as you can see here, the vast majority of people think it's a terrible idea. Well, not a terrible idea. Most people are either ashamed to this no, I never told anybody. I kind of misinterpret that as like I was kind of ashamed to tell other people. And then most people would just tell you it's a bad idea. And I'm just going to kind of give you my experiences of why I think that is. So let me just minimize this. And so if we look here, this is what I've kind of the conclusion that I've kind of come to about most people in general. Most people don't really know how to put their priorities in order. And I don't know if you ever heard of like the bike shed effect, where like I forget what the name of it is, but basically if you do like a Google search, I think it's like Parkinson's law of triviality. That's what it's called. And basically what it is it's an analogy, or I don't know if it's like an actual event that happened, but basically people will spend like 1 hour arguing over where a bike shed should be versus like 15 minutes to describe like what should happen with the nuclear power plant. It's like the more trivial the item is, the more intense the argument gets. And this is kind of how people are with their daily lives. Like, so when they're arguing with you passionately, it's probably over something stupid. And what I found out about most people, in my experience, is that most people are really passionate, are really caring about how you do something, than rather if you got the result or not. And I know there's like a question of, oh, should you do like be ethical? Was it ethical in the way you do it? And yes, we always want to be ethical and follow the law, right? But it's really weird that even if you are ethical and follow the law, a lot of people get disturbed by you not doing something by a certain procedure that they were taught, right? And it's kind of like that story about, I don't know if you ever heard that story about like the mother and the ham. Like she cuts off slices, so every time it's like Christmas or Thanksgiving, they or like Christmas, someone's mother puts the ham and cuts off slices in the oven, and then like the daughter asks the mom like, "Hey, like why do you do that?" And then the mom's like, "I don't know. That's what my mother did." Right? And then she asks her mother's like, "Why do we cut off slices of ham before we put it in the oven?" And it's like, I don't know. Why do we do that? I think it's to make it juicier or something. And then she asks like her mom, like so it's like the grandma's mom. And then they ask that mom, and the mom says, well, back then the ovens weren't that big, so we had to kind of cut off the slices to put in the oven, right? And that's how a lot of things are nowadays, right? I think a lot of the cultural practices and norms of our society are just based on things that worked 50, 60 years ago and that just don't work anymore, like going to college, and I'll make another video about that at a later time. But here's the thing. Here's something I really want to emphasize. If something works or not, don't just depend on the crowd to make the decision for you. Try it yourself. Actually swim in the water to figure out like if you like swimming or not, right? Or if that works for you, right? But just remember, there's no wisdom in crowds. Like there isn't, because if there were, vast majority of people would be making great decisions with their lives. But I'll just kind of give you two statistics about how most people make poor decisions. So, for example, I was pretty much on the track to paying off my personal home mortgage in about 4 years. But you look at the vast majority of people. Most people never pay off a 30-year mortgage in 30 years. Here's the other thing too. In 2023, right? 2023, what percentage of people regret buying a home? Well, the vast majority, 93%. If you just do a quick Google search, right? Just do a quick Google search of what percentage regret buying, and then you could see it's like 93%, right? This is public data. I think the National Association of Realtors actually know this too. If I could find the article. Yeah, right here, NAR Realtor. That's the National Association of Realtors. And so most people regret buying, right? So again, if we were to follow the crowd, then why don't we just join this 93%, right? But most people, because it's not taught by media, it's not taught by the school system, it's not taught by your local institutions, and they get into this thinking, oh, rah, rah, oh, 3%, 6% mortgage good versus what they're actually paying. Of course, they're going to think velocity banking is bad when they see a higher interest rate line of credit being used to pay off the principal, like 15, 20, even 30%, right? And not understanding that it's not just about paying off a mortgage, but also preventing that thing called, we always talk about segregation of income, which we talk about in other videos, right? But back to my point, again, I'm always going to flex this and say, hey, look what I did in 1 year. I didn't even have to try. I think I'm like a 60% equity position, which is pretty good. And I have over $220,000 in line of credit. Again, one of the reasons that I make these videos is because sometimes I talk about these things in real life, and sometimes it's a lot easier for people to understand this in form of video than it is in when you just kind of say it, and people think you're just making up, like seeing a ghost, right? Like because once you do things that most people cannot do, like pay off a mortgage at 1/4 of a mortgage in a year, they just don't think it like they think. I think they believe you, but they kind of think like you're not real, like a ghost, right? And that's why I made this YouTube channel. But again, so back to my point about why most people just don't kind of discourage you is because most people follow the groupthink and they value procedure over results. Like a lot of times it's more about like how you do it than what is the result, right? Okay, so this is Korean Atlanta Mentorship. If you're interested in joining our group, go ahead and click the Google form link below, and we'll be in touch. And also, if you're interested in joining our YouTube channel as a member, it's only 99 cents a month. You get exclusive access to emojis and exclusive access. I'm saying exclusive twice, to a live stream once a month where I just talk about whatever and do velocity banking. All right, have a great day, everybody, and we will speak next time.